Good evening everyone and welcome along to this AOR social race here at the Ricard circuit in France. Alongside me tonight in the commentary box for this social, one of the first races really on F1 2018 in the commentary box, we have Soup Colour and we're on PS4 Soup. Well, hopefully it will be a good race for us and it can be quite exciting, and who knows, Paul Ricard for the first time, the driver's driving in an anger. Will we see some good racing? Hopefully we do.
Well, let's hope so. I'm back once again. I did the social race last week in Belgium. That was the very first one. Did a few issues there, but yeah, Paul Ricard, first time that it's been used since 1980, I think, that this circuit was used in F1 until now. So we're back once again, and hopefully, I've driven around it a few times in the game, of course. It's a really interesting track and very easy to get lost. So I'm just going to see who's going to get lost first.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a strong field who ended up having to split the field because there were so many people on the PlayStation 4 side interested in doing this social race. So we ended up with two split fields. One for the guys from F3 and below, and one for the guys between F1 and F2. Let's have a look at Jake going through that first corner and down into turn 2 on this French circuit. And as you said, Soup, it's quite easy to get lost around here, isn't it, if you're not too familiar with it, as he heads down into the braking zone at turns 3 and 4. But Jake on a lap at the moment, and as you can hear, that horrible glitch where the engine just revs and revs and revs. One of many issues with the game at the early stages, but we'll give them a chance to fix it, Codemasters. It's early days, and hopefully the game will be up and running and ready come the start of the AOR season, as we watch Jake come to the end of this long straight. Probably the best overtaking opportunity on the racetrack, this Soup, isn't it? Going down into turns 8 and 9, isn't it?
Yeah, the Missile Straight is the original part of the circuit there. Back in the old track, this used to just carry straight on right down at this flat-out right-hander they're about to come up to. I won't tell you how many times I've taken the wrong turn down at that section because it's super confusing because there's no guiding lines for you there. But this is the most spectacular part of the circuit, this flat-out right into this long braking zone and a couple of long sweeping corners that bring you to the end of the circuit here. You come out of this using all the curb. And then this is the double end of the section here. You come into this left and a deceivingly tight right-hander. You really got to bring the car, sweep it in and get the car lined up for a run down towards turn 1. So it is an interesting circuit. Just it's one the drivers have got to get used to because it's brand new, of course. Yeah,
it's a really tricky one, and I mean, I've not had a chance to really drive it yet. I wasn't really a fan of it when I watched the Grand Prix here. I don't know, there's something about it that looks quite dull and boring with all these weird car park lines all around the track. But Jake did go quickest. It's immediately displaced though by Tonix at the top there with a 1:28.9. I'm not sure exactly how low these drivers are going to go, what kind of lap times to expect. We'll see, as Tonix has just gone quickest, has gone off the road a little bit there. Michael, we know how quick he is. I believe he was setting the world alight in F1, the top tier towards the end of last season on the PS4 side of things. Recently switched to no assists to compete in the AOR top tier, and he's proving already what he's capable of, and we'll see what he can do this season. It really is a breakthrough year in AOR for VGIA Michael, isn't it, Zoop?
Yeah, I've been watching his progress up through the tiers, and F1 he came in relatively kind of late into the season, but he was second in the championship from what I gathered from the standings. But the man taking on a provisional pole currently is David Tanitsa, who won the social last week. And he's, I think, brand new into the AOR scene, but he's really making his mark. So I think he's going to be one to watch come the F1 season.
Yeah, it will be. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, a newcomer doing that right away. That will send a few eyeballs spinning and a few heads turning. But yeah, Tonix on top at the moment. 12 minutes to go in the session. Remember, it is 18 minutes now, the short qualifying. It has been increased back up from what it was on previous games, which was, I think it was 12 minutes, wasn't it, Sib? I'm sure it was. But now back up to 18 minutes, so it gives the drivers a chance to, if they make a mistake, to get the perfect lap in on another attempt. But yeah, well, that's good for those guys. A little bit less pressure on them. But yeah, basically the whole purpose of this social race is to just let the guys dial into the circuit, dial into F1 2018, and hopefully give Codemasters a chance, if they're watching, to try and iron out a few issues, a few glitches. And it gives AOR, of course, a chance as well to see if the game is raceable online, and it's not too bad. And as you can see, there's a nice update there on the HUD screen for the spectators. As you can see, all the different colours of the cars now appearing on the left hand side, how long the drivers have been out on the tyres as well, appears for you as well, which is quite good for us commentators, isn't it, Soup, when it comes to race strategies?
Yeah, because a few of us are notoriously bad at figuring out strategy, so this is really helpful, particularly me, to figure out tyre life and exactly who's in the race, who's out of sync, etc. So it's a really, really useful tool that we can use.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at Daniel then coming round at the final corner. Is he coming into the pits? Yes, he is. So still Tonics on top by 2 and a bit tenths over VGIA Michael. And Daniel, who's just come into the pits. Who else we got out there on the track? Let's have a look at the H-Eagle in that Mercedes. And as you can see, the halo on all these cars for F1 2018. We saw today how effective the halo can be in the actual Grand Prix, didn't we, Soup, with Charles Leclerc? So there's a lot of complaining about the aesthetics of the halo, but I think everyone's come to terms with it. Everybody's got used to it. Obviously, a lot of people were complaining before the release of F1 2018 that they would love to see an option to turn the halo off completely. But I don't know about you, but I'm warm to it now. That doesn't seem to bother me so much. What about yourself?
Yeah, I've kind of, ever since that first race in Australia where I really noticed it, now I kind of just glaze over it because the teams are able to paint it to their own scheme. It's just able to blend in a bit more, and I think anybody who had an argument that the halo does absolutely nothing, I think just take a look at the damage on Charles Leclerc's halo, and the argument's pretty much done and dusted, I'm afraid.
Yep, it is. And that's here to stay. That's Modern Formula 1 for you as we watch the H-Eagle, and he is also going to peel into the pits. And oh, that looked a little bit glitchy there, but in he comes. Who else we got out there? Michael is back out on the racetrack. And he'll be hoping, of course, as we mentioned, to try and fight for that championship. Finish second, as Soup was saying, towards the end of that PS4 championship season, despite joining late. So he'll be hoping to show his potential, his pace, as he comes down into that extremely tight final corner, as you were talking about earlier on, Soup, and opens the corner right up for a nice run across the start-finish line to start a flying lap. Still 10 minutes to go in the session, and we've lost you, Soup, from the session.
Yeah, my game's crashed.
Your game's
for
crashed.
The second week in a row.
Oh dear. Well, it's a disaster for Soup. Hopefully we'll get you back as soon as possible. Do you need another invite, or can I give you one? Is that possible?
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to actually restart my PS4 because the error status has also crashed. So I'll be back momentarily.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on Michael then as he heads into turn 6. This long right-hander, you're just desperate to get the throttle down through there, but you just have to wait and then apply the throttle as he goes through turn 7 and then down this back straight. The DRS will open on that Force India as he hurtles down at over 200 miles an hour towards the braking zone for turns 8 and 9. So Michael heading into turn 8 and 9 now, a much faster chicane than we first anticipated when we came here in real life Formula 1. And Michael heads out of there now and down into that long sweeping right-hander. It's basically the opposite of 130R at Suzuka. You sweep to the left there and you sweep to the right here and then down into the corner. It's just like turn 8 at Turkey, or that one in India as well, a very similar corner to that. And then the next sequence of corners comes at you quickly as well. A long sweeping left-hander follows, and then back up through the gears and towards the end of the lap. 2 more corners to go for Michael, turns 14 and 15, and back down into that turn 15, that difficult final corner he goes, down into first gear even. Not often you see that in these cars, and Michael now heads towards the line. Is he going to go quicker than the 28.9? Yes, he is. He goes a tenth quicker than Tonics to lower the bar, a 128.820. So what can Tonics do? Is he on a lap at the moment in that Red Bull racing car, sweeping at over 200 miles an hour through that long right-hander and then into another extremely long right-hander, throw the Red Bull into the corner, just wait to get onto the throttle, run it right out to the curb, and then through this long sweeping turn 13 and then down towards turn 14. Is he going to put himself back on top spot, or is Michael going to cling on for now? Now down through the gears into fourth. Will he choose to go down into first gear coming through here? Yes, so there you go. A lot of drivers using first gear into that corner. Not often you see that. As Tonics now heads for the line, does he deliver pole position? No, he doesn't. It actually said he'd done a 28.7 there, so I presume he must have cut a corner somewhere on that lap. So no improvement from him. But the top two seemingly quite a distance ahead of the rest at the moment. Some half a second clear of Vamos Danny, who we're on board with now in that Red Bull. I think, is he on a quick lap at the moment? It's hard to tell with those engine notes. But, there's Dan Denny pulling over as we pick up Ali Kate. And Car Alex out there as well. Let's see what he can do in that Ferrari. I don't know what everyone else's opinion is. I'd like to hear, if you're watching in the chat, what your favourite T-Cam is, for me, it is the Ferrari. If I was racing in a league race, I would love to race in that Ferrari car as we watch Alex head down towards the end of the lap through that extremely long sweeping right-hander, sorry, now into the left. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to try and invite Soup back into the party if he's back online. Hopefully he is, just so he's got an invite from me. So apologies for that slight cut off from the screen. But, as soon as I get Soup back in here, you guys can look at the beautiful game in all its glory once again. So there we go, invited Soup back in as we watch Alex. He stays 5th quickest at the moment, so no improvement for the Ferrari driver. Who else we got out there? Is Michael going any quicker? What about Tonix? As we pick up Tonix once again, coming towards the end of a lap. He's not on a quick one at the moment. Is he coming into the pits? I think he will be. Yep, they're all coming in for what will be the 3rd run. So that's the joy of having an 18-minute qualifying session. You can do 3 runs instead of 2. So who else is out there? Let's pick up Jay Thorne. Is he on a quick lap at the moment? I don't think so. Is there anyone out there on a quick lap? I don't know if the H-Eagle is. Coming round the penultimate corner and into the final corner. Let's have a look. Is he going to finish the lap? Round the final corner, the back end stepping out. The H-Eagle then heads for the line. Currently 8th. Moves to 6th quickest. Still around a second off the pace. So Michael on top from Tonix, Vamos Daniel, Car Alex and the H-Eagle. Soup, are you back with us?
I need another invite if possible.
To what? To the game?
Session. I can't use the other one.
Is that possible for me to do? Can I do that?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Can you join through the party perhaps? Is that possible? No?
Well, this should be okay.
I'll see if you can do that. If not, we might be losing a commentator before we've lost a driver from this Grand Prix.
Yeah, rip. I can't join.
Can't join. Oh, goodness me. Oh, well, you can watch it on the stream if you want, and you can join me in the commentary box and just feedback on the action if you want. It's up to you. But that's a possibility if you want to do that. But VP McGrady, let's have a look at him in the Haas car. Is he on a quick lap at the moment? Doesn't look like it. Just well off the throttle going through there. But everyone about to start their 3rd run of the session as McGrady heads towards the end of the lap in that Haas car. And look at that camera angle. That's the one that FOM ditched after one race at Melbourne, where you look down the side of the helmet of the driver and you can't see anything in front of you. But into the pits comes McGrady. Is there anyone else out there on a quick lap? Let's have a look. Car Alex is they're all in the pits at the moment. Brig Prenta, let's have a look at him. He's about to start a flying lap. So let's have a look at the Mercedes driver. Prenta heading down across the start-finish line towards turn 1 and 2, where Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas famously clashed this season at the start, and then all hell broke loose as he now sweeps down the hill. The bumpy run down towards turn 3 and 4 for Big Prenta. Currently 14th, no time on the board so far. Now into turns 5 and 6, the really frustrating turn 6, just waiting to pick up the throttle, and through goes Prenta, and out, shooting out, slingshotting through turn 7 and down that long back straight where we will see the most overtaking in the race. I'm fascinated to see how the race pans out, because it's the first time, of course, we're ever going to race competitively or in a reasonably competitive manner on this racetrack on F1 2018, so we'll see how it goes. But Big Prenta heading now down towards that long sweeping right-hander of turn 11. So through goes Prenta now, and where is he going to go on the timesheets? 1.7 covering the top 12 drivers at the moment. Remember, this tier or this social race has mostly guys in F1 and F2 and maybe a few newcomers as well. So Big Prenta heading towards the end of the lap, currently 14th at the moment without a time. We also await a time from Curly Wurly as well, who of course was a champion in F2 on F1 2017 in the first season that AOR did. As we now watch Big Prenta come round that final corner up to the line, 14th quickest for the Mercedes driver at the moment, and he now moves up to 3rd quickest. So a good effort there from Big Prenta, 4/10 of the pole time, and look how close he was to colliding with Daniel there. And I think, Soup, you've managed to get back in, have you?
Back.
Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I am a tech genius is all I will say.
How did you manage that one?
I did some wizard stuff.
Wizardry.
I went through about 4 or 5 different profiles of friends to find the session.
Oh, nice one.
So I could join through it. It's an open session, thankfully, so I can get in with no invite.
Well, that's nice. Good to have you with us again, Soup. And I'm not left
Crisis
to do it.
averted.
Yeah, crisis averted. You're absolutely right. As we'll go back on board with Michael, he's going quite slowly at the moment. I think everyone's just biding their time to get onto their flying laps. What about Tonix? Is he on a quick one at the moment? No, he's on an out lap, about to start a flying lap. Is there anyone on a quick one that we can go on board with at the moment? Vamos Danny looks like he's on a quick one as he heads down the hill around this Paul Ricard car park as it is, sweeping through turns 3 and 4 where Fernando Alonso went for a spin earlier in the season. And now through turns 5 and 6 goes Vamos Danny. I've got to ask you, Soup, have you driven this track much on the game? Is it one that you enjoy, or is it not really one that you are looking forward to?
Well, I actually drove it for the first time earlier today, just to see how it was. I do enjoy certain sections. The end of the straight, the Mistral straight, that long, flat-out right-hander is amazing when you get it right. And some of the corners, they're really nice and flowing, so you can carry a lot of momentum, a lot of speed through them. I really hate that last corner though, because all the downforce comes off the car when you get it stopped. So it's just trying to get that thing turned in is a nightmare. But otherwise, it's actually quite a nice circuit once you get to know it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that if you nail the lap, you really do enjoy it. The car needs to be on rails, doesn't it? Through those technical parts of the racetrack, and no, you're absolutely right. If you do the practice, you put the time in, you might enjoy it better. But as you say, that final corner, I've not driven the track yet, but it does look like a real handful to head into that final corner. You've done so well on your lap, and then it deceives you. You approach it, you get it all wrong. But let's have a look at Vamos Danny. We'll come round the final corner, up to the line. This is his final lap of the session, and he stays 4th quickest. So what about Michael? What about Tonix? I think Tonix is further round the lap. So there's a 10th between them at the moment. What can the Red Bull driver do? Is this an early sign of things to come for F1? Michael, I think, is backed out of his lap. So it's all about whether Tonix can knock him off top spot. Here comes the Red Bull. Round the final corner, up to the line. Is he quickest of all? No, he isn't. It says he's done a 28.4. So again, he must have cut the corner somewhere. So 2nd quickest for Tonix. What about Dan Daniel out there on the track? Because I'm getting a hell of a lot of...
oh, that's a lag spike.
Oh,
ouch.
That's got to be the biggest lag spike I've ever seen in the whole of my life. Goodness me. As Dan Daniel crosses the line and goes 5th quickest. Goodness me, that was huge. That was like an earthquake shook the commentary box there. That's what that was like. But I think...
240p days.
Yeah, exactly. But that seems to have rounded off the session. And... that is that. I don't think there's anyone else out there on a lap. Perhaps the H-Eagle is. Yes, he is. He's coming around the final corner. So the H-Eagle in the Mercedes. His teammate's gone 3rd quickest. Where's he going to go? He stays 7th quickest. So no improvement for the H-Eagle. And what about Shelley? He's still out on the lap. In fact, he's backed clean out of the lap. So nope. It looks like it's VGIA Michael that's got the quickest time on the board. A 1:28.820 ahead of Tonix in 2nd. 1/10 shy. Big Prenta 4/10 off the pace. Vamos Danny 4th. Dan Daniel was 5th. Carl Alex was 6th. H-Eagle 7th. Ali K in 8th. And Jake was 9th as I watch a huge crash. We get that quite often on these games. And Tonix bouncing into the barrier. Hope that doesn't give him fresh tyres for the race. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But the race is moments away. And Soup, I'm not sure. I think we're all a bit unknown about strategy. But will it be 1 stop? Will it be 2 stop? We'll have to wait and see. But probably 1, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Belgium was a very, very easy 1 stop. So I'd imagine most likely probably going to be 1 stop again here. But don't quote me because I'm not familiar enough with the circuit to know the kind of strategy. But I guess we'll figure it out as we go.
Oh no, now I'm getting an error. Oh, for goodness sake. I've got an error code as well. Have you got one too?